broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. The show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host and technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise. Our co-host today is Mark Gregoire. He's in studio, and he's the award-winning technologist in the field of cybersecurity and technology transformation with business growth. He's also, of course, our whiskey connoisseur. Now, we're live streaming during our show on 4 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Facebook, and LinkedIn. It seems to be a question on whether X is streaming us or not, so we're still going to have to take a look into that. We encourage you to visit us online always at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. We're friends from different backgrounds, but we bring the best technology show possible weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie, our producer, at the control panel today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, buckle up as we dive into the latest technology news and stories. Here's what we have coming up on the show today. Well, first off, we're going to dive into the potential of Blue Sky, a platform that we reviewed about a year ago with over 700,000 new users this week. Experts believe this may replace X. Then next, we're diving into an intriguing story about a Skynet satellite that has reportedly moved on its own. Could this be the dawn of Judgment Day? And in a significant move for online safety, Apple has introduced a few new features that allow kids to report unwanted nude photos directly to the company. How will this impact the digital safety of young users and others? We're going to take a look at that. And of course, our gadgets and gear expert, Gwen Wei, is on the show with a gadget you can actually purchase today. But that's not all. We're excited to introduce a brand new segment called Say What? Say What? That's it. Where Mark and I bring some of the most surprising, unexpected technology news. But before that, you have ever wondered if talking to plants works? Well, guess what? Odie is going to be talking about a new AI-powered garden. And then we have a nugget that will explore Microsoft's latest invention, a universal share button in Windows 11. It's not documented yet. I found it through a secret way. So we're going to be talking about how you can find that and enable it and get your information shared in your Windows environment. In addition, we have our standard features, including our technology fail of the week, a possible nugget, as I was talking about, and of course, our pick of the day, whiskey tastings, to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up by the end of the show.
Sounds like a heck of a show today.
Ooh, that's just the beginning.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being in the co-host chair today.
I came for the whiskey, but I'm staying for the friendship.
Oh, there you go. Oh, look at that. All right, well, now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, Blue Sky adds 700,000 new users in a week. Let's go to Corinne Westland for more on this story.
It seems we have a real contender in the hunt to replace the platform known as X. Blue Sky gained more than 700,000 new users in the last week and now has more than 14.5 million users total. Blue Sky COO Rose Wang confirmed that the majority of the new users on the decentralized social network are from the U.S., Wang says. The app is currently the number 2 free social networking app in the U.S. App Store, only trailing Meta's Threads. Do you guys think this has a chance? Back to you in the studio.
Wow, so why did they get 700,000?
Well,
That's interesting.
There's this thing called an election. I don't know if you heard about that. But a majority of new users are looking for a new platform that's an alternative to X. Does that surprise you?
It does not. I think a lot of people are looking for a more open platform. X is pretty closed, and people are looking for a little moderation not the Wild Wild West.
Not the Wild Wild. That's what it's looking for. An independent platform has seen a lot of growth recently. In the weeks from October 24th onwards, Blue Sky announced that it had 13 million users. After X's recent announcement that said it would let blocked users still see posts from a person that is blocked, Blue Sky said that it had over 500,000 new users that day. The result of the U.S. was that?
That's incredible.
So there's what's happening are people. So I think people have always wanted an alternative to X, but there hasn't been anything out there, right? So there's been. We talked about Mastodon, didn't really work. It was too difficult to actually set up for. Reddit really isn't a platform where you can read and post information, but it's not like news breaking. It's not trending. The thing for Blue Sky to work is they need to get the NBA, NFL, some of those type of big organizations to use it to release their roster information, game day information. If you could start getting those major players over to a new platform, people will move quickly.
That's an excellent point. So besides TechTime, which is on there, what other major players should be on there?
So they have tons of news. So CNN's on there. Okay. They have MSNBC on there. They have Fox is on there. So they have all the news organizations. It's easy to find users. So Blue Sky is not a difficult platform. It has almost exactly the same controls as X. But the key is you have to have those people there. Now, Taylor Swift, I don't know if you ever heard of that gal.
She's Taylor Swift. I know Taylor Swift. She's dating some football guy.
Yeah, some tight end for the Kansas City. But I think she's also a singer. So she's did a big push to move all of her accounts over to Blue Sky. So if you get enough people that are on Blue Sky that people want to follow, I think then Blue Sky has a chance to take itself off.
That's a pretty good, because we're both Swifties, right?
Well, I you know what? I wasn't a Swiftie until she started dating Travis Kelce. So to be honest, I was not a big Swiftie fan. But now, I don't mind seeing her at the Chiefs games who block a field goal and they're undefeated still. Well, this is the time right now. If you want to go to see TechTime on Blue Sky, you can go and like us. We encourage you to create an account. There's lots of different alternatives out there. We would love to have an alternative to X that we can be able to use as a main platform. There's some stuff Blue Sky does not do, some streaming and some video content that they're adding. Just
they're still a lot younger though. They're still growing.
Yeah, they've been around for about 4 years. So, but it's really the adoption rate, which is the key for success.
Right.
All right. Well, I can't wait for story number 2. This is Odie's story. What do we got going on here, Odie?
So have you ever thought about talking to your plants?
I have not.
Well, I talk to my plants right now.
Oh, yeah?
I do.
Okay, because it has been proven that it improves their health.
Okay.
That is a thing.
Okay.
So my sister, I always encourage her to talk good to the plants because they have feelings.
Okay.
Hardcore gardeners sometimes, when no one else is listening, talk quietly to their prized blooms. But at next year's Chelsea Flower Show, visitors will be encouraged to have a chat with its first ever AI-powered garden.
Okay.
The garden designer Tom Massey has partnered with Microsoft to create the Avanade Intelligent Garden. Sensors in the soil are partnered with an AI trained on Royal Horticultural Society plant data and gardening advice, meaning visitors can ask the garden, "How are you?"
Oh.
Massey said it could answer, "I need a bit more water. I can do with a haircut maybe," as well as making gardening easier and more fun. It could also have wider applications. The wireless sensors hidden in the soil measure moisture, nutrient levels, acidity, and alkalinity. These will connect to a computer in a pavilion in the garden, which people will be able to consult to see how the garden is doing.
So the biggest thing here is a lot of us talk to our plants, but now you're saying the plant's going to talk back.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it.
Well,
even if it is just like some, it might, it
have you ever
feels
seen
like a
Little
bogus
Shop of
thing.
Horrors?
No.
You have not seen Little
No.
Shop of Horrors? Okay, so there's a plant on there, pet name Toei, and the plants talk just like in the movie. So this is like Little Shop of Horrors coming together with AI, so your garden could talk back to you. But then you're going to have to...
You better do a good job, because otherwise they're going to say some nasty things to you if they start dying.
Yeah, what happens when the dog comes on out? Will the AI say, I can't stand your dog? Ooh.
Maybe.
Because if they go up and they destroy all the...
I don't know, but I'm super stoked because, there's been a bunch of research over the years of how plants react to other people killing plants in front of them, and they're their emotional sensors and all that. So I'm super stoked to see like them responding back.
That would be kind of cool.
It is. The question I have, I don't know if we can answer it now, but you know, AI is doing it and it's reading all the different measurements. So is that what it's interpreting what the plant would say?
So,
or do we actually going to get some kind of vibrations from the plant itself?
Essentially, the simple sensor technology could be rolled out in larger estates and it'll have an automatic watering system, which will switch depending on time. And it also measures the soil moisture to a certain level. So it just surveys what's going on with the plants.
Yeah, this could actually be an interesting deal because it could replace also gardeners and.
I don't think it's that.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, I don't know if
it doesn't do weeding right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't do weeding. Although there are little robots that are supposedly to do that.
But that's not the same.
Okay.
Like, yeah, my Roomba's great, but you know, they're not seeing the actual dirt on the ground.
Okay.
You know?
I hear you. It is exciting.
So
Not
is
that I
this
have a
something like,
Roomba,
let's say it gets mass marketed and it gets affordable. Is this something that you and your sister would go for?
Oh, 100%. I'd be so interested in seeing like what the plant needs and everything. And
Just
maybe,
think of coming on home and say, "Hey, how are you doing, plant? Odie, where have you been all day? I missed you. Where have you been? You did
I'm
this."
hungry. I'm thirsty.
Well, I'm just thinking a lot of us struggle at growing. My wife.
Oh,
loves
I don't have a
plants.
green thumb at all.
No.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
overwater stuff.
Can this
and then
help?
we-
This
then
would probably help that.
It probably would.
Yeah, I'd probably be able to keep a cactus alive.
But
with
then it needs to alert me in my Alexa app all the time, saying that when you start running out of batteries on stuff, Alexa will say, "Hey, you need to replace your batteries." Then they can hook it into Alexa and say, "Hey, go out there and take care of me. I need some water."
Yeah, that would be nice.
It would be.
Especially if like you've got a lot. It's not like a pet. A pet will gives you signs physically, with their body language, like, oh, I want this and this to be done.
Yeah.
A plant can't really do that. But with this, it kind of pushes us closer to having communication.
That would be good.
I'm so excited. I'm stoked.
That's really cool.
All right, are you ready for story number 3?
A big transition here.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Well, you go from well, these are their trending stories, so they're not always about the
So
nicest
little
thing.
word of warning out there for our listeners. This may get a little bit PG-13.
Okay.
So kids can now report unwanted nude photos to Apple.
Okay.
Now, Apple is trying this new approach to protecting children. They've been people have been putting a lot of leverage for the last few years on Apple to do this. And with this stepped up feature, it started on Australia and eventually it's going to be available around the world, they're saying.
Okay.
And this is where the kids, if they receive a nude photo or something explicit, they can now report it directly to Apple.
All right. And what does
Now-
Apple do?
Then Apple will actually go into the text messages and verify it. And that's all we know at this point.
Okay.
What we don't know what the ramifications are going to be after that. But I guess the big thing that people are talking about, 2 points. Number one, thank you, Apple, for trying to protect children. This is an epidemic in our society. But number two, it talks about the privacy concerns. A lot of people are up in arms about it because Apple's been saying there's no way we can read your text, and now all of a sudden they're saying they can.
So that is interesting, right? Because the Apple's really about privacy. So that kind of scares me a little bit. Not that the app is good, but if they can start going in and reading chat messages, does that mean? So my mind wanders immediately to that third party vendor that's going to be monitoring this. How do you make sure you get the right people?
Yeah, we've talked about that. A lot of abuse on that, or them taking those photos and actually publicizing them or using them for other nefarious concerns.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's a step forward. It's a step that I think personally needs to happen.
Okay.
And yet we need to go in with our eyes open and take these precautions.
Okay.
Now, there's another thing for parents can do to actually help also.
And this is available now.
This is available now, even in the U.S., correct?
Okay. Yep.
Yep. So, let's see here. I'm going to tell you guys all how to do this. If you can't write it down now, that's fine. You can go to techtimeradio.com and you can listen to the rebroadcast and go through these steps exactly. But on the iPhone, go to the settings app that looks like the mechanical gear, then select screen time and tap on the name of the child in your family group. Because generally, if it's a child that you're doing, they're part of your family group.
Yep.
Hopefully, they don't have their own separate account. Select the communication safety option and tap the sliding feature so it's green. So right now, with that feature turned on, if they do receive sexualized content, Apple will automatically blur them.
Okay.
Now, there is a caveat to this.
What's that?
I believe it's only within the iPhone's text app, and it's only iPhone to iPhone.
That is correct.
So,
Yep.
once again, step
So it's just
one,
it's just Apple centric right now.
yes, there's more that needs to be done in the technology to make this progress. But right now, at least it's step one.
That is a good step, though.
It is a good step.
I am excited about that.
Are you? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people were upset. So we're all very positive on it. I like to hear.
I'm just worried about the third party person.
Yes.
That's
And
going to go in the message.
I see that, but I
Yeah.
also raise you as somebody that grew up with the technology from today. It would be nice, like how I think it was Tinder. They started flagging people that were sending unsolicited images.
Yep.
It's nice. It's just like an extra form of protection for kids, especially when you're so young. You don't know, you don't understand what's being done.
Correct.
In that day and age, you just think, oh, blah blah blah.
Yep.
But
So to answer your question, yes, there is concerns, but is that the reason not to make a step forward?
No.
Am I answer? Yeah, I think we're all.
I think
agreeing
we're
now.
all in
We have
agreement
to-
there.
There's going to be mistakes made. Some people's privacy is going to be breached. But in the end,
But you know
if that
what?
makes things
Here's
go
the
forward, it's
key.
you know
okay.
what? If you're worried about that,
Don't do it.
send. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
internet, everything is going to be always stored
Yeah.
forever. So if you're sending something that you said, well, gee, I don't want everybody to have that, then don't put it on the internet. There's other ways you could do whatever you need to get done. I mean, go print out a picture and send it to somebody in snail mail if you want to do something to that extent. But seriously, as soon as you put it into the digital world, it can
It
be
is there
taken at
forever.
any time and it doesn't ever go away.
By anyone, anywhere.
At any time, any place. Company goes bankrupt, boom, it's available for anybody to purchase. So don't be doing that.
And this doesn't let parents off the hook. They still have to monitor. They still
Yes.
have to be aware because remember,
to your kids.
it's only within the iPhone app. So
Open line of
the first thing,
communication.
yes, and the first thing a predator is going to do is like, hey, let's switch to WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
you have to be careful.
Yes.
still.
How is this not? This should be something that's just rolled out with all communication apps.
Yeah, the idea,
yeah,
the idea
cool.
of how do you report it? I mean, that's a big thing that Apple's going to have to figure out. Does that mean all of a sudden they have explicit photos? Are they going to engage the FBI if it's in the United States? Are they going to go to CIA if it's overseas and somebody's doing it? Who do you engage with? Do you go to your local authorities? I think there's a lot of stuff in there that are still pretty gray, which is probably why most people have said that they weren't going to do anything about it.
But you got to start.
Yeah, that
You
sounds
gotta
good.
start. Now, everybody needs to remember that if you put something on the internet, generally it's forever.
It is.
So be careful what you text, what you send, what you post.
All right, so our next story here is about Elwood Edwards. Do you know who Elwood Edwards is? Well, you probably do.
I
Because you
do.
shared the story in the
I
production
shared the
meeting.
story, and it was on a little segment on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah, okay, there you
past
go.
week.
So the voice of AOL's iconic greeting, "You Got Mail," has passed away at the age of 74. Edwards was behind-the-scenes graphics and camera operator at a local Cleveland television station, WKYC, whose voice was propelled to worldwide fame after he recorded AOL's email greeting, "You Got Mail."
You got to say it in like the way he said.
You got mail. I don't know exactly. I mean, if I heard it, I would know it. So this is the interesting thing. How did he get involved to be the voice? Well, of course, his wife, Karen, worked at Quantum Computer Services, which eventually became AOL. And in 1989, she overheard the former CEO of American Online, Steve Case, discussing adding a voice to the upcoming AOL software. She volunteered, of course, her husband. And Edwards recorded the 4 phrases on a cassette deck in his living room. These 4 phrases were "welcome," "you've got mail," "file's done," and "goodbye." These would eventually be heard by hundreds of millions of people and become a staple part of the AOL experience.
That's interesting. I don't remember Files Done.
I don't remember
The other
"file's done"
3 I
either.
remember.
And you know what? I don't think I ever remember "goodbye." Do you remember "goodbye"?
Yeah, that's when you signed off. Goodbye.
Oh, did it say? Okay. Okay. I don't. Do you remember "welcome"?
That's when you logged on.
Okay. I I just remember "you got mail."
My wife had AOL for a long time, so I always, when she was working on
So
the
I used
computer, I could hear it.
CompuServe, one of the competitors at the time.
Oh, that's probably why.
So they had a little bit of a different. The AOL, I mean, anybody could have signed up for you because you got like CDs in the mail
Yes.
every week. I
That
mean,
you got free time and you just collected and keep getting free time.
and you never had to have your account taken care of. Yeah, that's right. I remember Sierra Online. Never mind. Okay, we could go down for hours and hours.
So he wasn't that. How old was he again?
74?
74. He wasn't that old.
No,
So
no. But you know what?
Well, that's a great backstory. I did not know the backstory to that.
There you go. Always be careful what your wife's volunteer you for.
Well, you know what? She made him famous.
Oh, she did?
And iconic.
Are you ready for this?
What's that?
Is it gonna play?
You got the voice you're gonna play for me?
I've got it right here.
All right, let's hear it.
It's loading. Dang it!
Oh, it's loading.
Oh, never mind.
Wait, you got
That's another voice.
Do you have AOL on that too?
No, it.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's see.
So-
Okay. There you go. Odie's trying to get something that's loading
I
in the
tried.
background. Okay.
Well,
never mind.
you've
All
got
right.
mail, man.
You got mail. All right. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on, we have our gadgets and gear segment up next with a way to stay connected without the internet. Gwen will explain more. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. See you after the commercial break.
This is Mark
And Greg,
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer.
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without a political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And, of course, a little whiskey on the side. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is in Studio 400. Mark, what have you chosen for us today?
Woodford Reserve Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Okay.
This is their flagship bourbon. Now, from Woodford's website, the art of making fine bourbon first took place on the site of the Woodford Reserve Distillery, a National Historic Landmark, in 1812.
Wow.
The perfect balanced taste of their Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey is comprised of more than 200 detectable flavor notes, from bold grain and wood to sweet aromatic, spice, and fruit and floral notes. So what did you think when you
I like it. I like it.
it?
Last week's was I struggled last week, so I remember the previous weeks really well. The 2 weeks ago was like
That was the rye.
that was butter. This is really good. This is really good.
All right.
I do taste the kind of flowery taste to it, so I can see what they're saying on that.
All right. Now, the company that owns this is Brown-Forman. The distillation is a little interesting.
Okay.
And we'll be talking more about that later during the mumbles, so stay tuned. But it's a blend from Woodford Reserve Distillery and Brown-Forman Distillery, two different places in Kentucky.
Okay.
It's straight bourbon. It's non-age stated. It's 90.4 proof. Mash bill is 72% corn, 18% rye, 10% malted barley. And for a standard bottle, it goes for about $35.
$35
Yeah.
for that bottle right there.
Well,
Or is this a
not
little
for
bit of a-
this one's a 1 liter.
Okay.
So
instead
this
of-
for the 750 is $35. This
Okay.
is 1 liter, and this was a special pick too.
okay. Oh, it's
So
a
it's a
special
little,
pick.
it's a little different.
It's a
but,
little
you
bitter?
know, we'll fudge it.
All right. Okay. This is pretty good tasting. I was gonna say for
Yeah.
$35, man.
No, but the regular one tastes very similar.
okay.
Now, don't forget to like and subscribe for all of you on those platforms. In addition, please comment and let us know what whiskey you'd like us to review.
That'd be great. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so you know what? We need people to start liking our social media pages.
If you like our show, if you really like us,
That's
we could
what-
use your support on patreon.com.
Or is it Patreon? I think it's Patreon.
Okay, Patreon. If you really like us, you can.
And you say I'm
like
the
us
English
in
guy?
Patreon.com.
I butcher the English language?
You know you butcher the English
Okay,
language
so it's
all the time.
It's Patreon.com.
Patreon.com. If you if you really like our show, you can subscribe to Patreon.com and help us out.
Oh, and you can visit us on that Facebook platform. You know, the one that Zuckerberg owns?
The one that we always bag on.
Yeah, you can. We're on Facebook, too.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Do you know what our Facebook page is?
Tech Time Radio.
At Tech Time Radio.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a trend here.
It seems to be that there's a trend, and that's Tech Time Radio.
Or you can even Instagram with us.
And that's at Tech Time Radio.
That's at Tech Time Radio. Or you can find us on TikTok.
And it's Tech Time Radio.
It's at Tech Time Radio.
Like and subscribe to our social
Like
media.
us today. We need you to like us.
Like us and subscribe. That's it.
That's it. That's that simple.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, let's go to This Week in Technology. We're going to go to November 12th, 1981. The Space Shuttle Columbia had its second voyage, known as the STS-2. This mission was notable because it was the first time a space shuttle was reused for a second flight. Astronauts Joe H. Engel and Richard H. Truly piloted Columbia on this mission, which was originally planned for 5 days but was cut short to just 2 days due to a fuel cell failure. This is not the final failure for Columbia, which makes thinking, should you be using recycling space shuttles, and is it a good idea?
Well, that was the beginning of the space age. We've done a lot of multiple ones now.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, when you start a new technology, there's failures.
And
unfortunately, it caused death.
It did.
And, I still remember seeing that live.
I do too.
And that's still burned in my memory. That was traumatic.
Yeah, well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some TechTime history with over 220 plus weekly broadcasts spanning 4+ years of videos, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, we have... Oh, we're not going to go commercial break? Okay, we are going to go...
Right.
Do we have Gwen ready to go again? All right, good. It looks like we have Gwen ready to go. All right, Gwen, how are you doing?
I am doing well, but having an even harder time now.
All right, Gwen is still on. She looks like she's getting some adjustment there. Undo echo canceling. Let's see. There you go. Let's see if any of that makes anything difference there. All right, Gwen. Well, Gwen, you know what? What we may have to do is we may have to have you come back next week to do your item. I think we have some other stuff that we can put in here if we keep on having a technical difficulty.
But we're going to commercial anyway, so we'll give another minute there.
Yeah, you want to go to a commercial break here, Odie, or do you want to go right into our... you want to go to a commercial break? Let's do one last commercial break. Here we go. We'll see you guys after this.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for, Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
Now we got to go to mumble quickly here. Mark, what did we have for our mumble today?
I haven't even finished my glass yet.
I know. Well, we got to learn more about our whiskey.
Well, let's talk about today, November 12th.
Okay.
We are celebrating, do you know?
I do not. What is today?
National Happy Hour Day.
Oh, National Happy Hour Day. Okay, that's a good deal to be celebrating.
I know. It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Now, if you're sitting at your favorite watering hole with a group of buddies chowing down on free or reduced price appetizers with a cocktail of beer between 3 to 7 today, guess what? Then you're right on time for National Happy Hour Day.
Okay.
Life would be dull without it, so enjoy. Now, drink responsibly. Heaven can wait.
That's a pretty... Is that your little tagline?
It is, but I like it. I stole it, so
okay.
It's not originally mine. It's actually from a bottle of whiskey that we had brought in one time.
Okay.
They had it on their label.
I like that.
Okay. I do. All right. So we've been talking about happy hour cocktails. Now, one of the
I like happy hour. Happy hour is a good...
Well, I know you love happy hour.
I love happy hour.
You love half-price appetizers.
I do. Appetizers, a little bit of alcohol. Nothing's better to end your day with that.
Now, one of the most iconic cocktails out there is the mint julep from the Kentucky Derby.
Okay, I'm familiar with that.
Now, Woodford Reserve is the official bourbon of the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
Ironically, Brown-Forman's Old Forester actually is served as the bourbon base in the mint julep at the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
So it's a little strange there. Now, a little unique also from Woodford Reserve's Distillers Select Bourbon. It consists of a mixture of pot still whiskey distilled at their Woodford Reserve distillery and column still spirits from the Brown-Forman distillery. The exact ratio is undisclosed, but it's pretty unique of mixing pot still and column still from two different distilleries owned by the same company.
Okay.
So I find that as a very interesting fact. Now, this bourbon, as we talked about before, the 200 flavors in there, it's a bit interesting because it has everything when tasting it. Light grain, sweetness, vanilla, fruit, spiciness, oak, nuts, floral, and herbal. Because of this bourbon works really well for two things for me. First, I find it's one of the better cocktail mixers because of its flavor spectrum. Second, it's a great introduction bourbon for beginners. Because it has the full spectrum, it's easier to tease out flavors a person likes and does not like to steer them in a direction of other bourbons or their preferred preference.
Okay.
So it's a great one to start with. And what do you like? What do you don't like? So what in here did you not like?
No, I like everything.
You liked everything?
I like the cork top. Right. I like the bottle layout. So
I'm talking about specifically the juice.
The juice.
Is there anything in there that stood out?
No, because I don't have that big of a palate, right? So it's either the bite or not the bite that's the issue, and so
there's a little spiciness in there, but not too much. Has a little wood, not too much.
A little flower, a little bit of a floral taste to it.
It does.
It has a nice smooth taste with no bite. That's a big deal.
Okay,
so I can do that with no bite. That we have it.
You're an easy drinker.
All right, there you go. Okay, well, it looks like we do have some of the audio items taken care of. So we're going to go to Gwen.
Hang on.
What's that?
What does whiskey pair like?
What does it pair
you
like?
You always give me a pairing.
Well, so the pairing is it's supposed to be like turkey and pumpkin pie.
Okay, so a little preview of Thanksgiving.
Just like technology. It's such a great pairing, whiskey and technology, that our today's item was to be turkey and a little bit of pumpkin pie.
I would do. I love that one.
Okay.
But I also like turkey with cranberry sauce.
So I'll just tell you this. Pumpkin pie, my mom used to make it. It was fantastic. But you know what? I cannot have a better pie than what Costco makes. I don't know what they put into that pumpkin pie, but that pumpkin pie from Costco is unbelievable. I just had that a couple days ago. We were out and you a little bit of whipped cream on that. Oh, that sucker is so good.
Ooh,
all right.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, so let's take a look at our technology fail. This comes to us from Skynet. Someone moved UK's oldest satellite, and there appears to be no record of exactly who, when, and why. Launched in 1969, just a few months after humans first set foot on the moon, Skynet-1A was put high above Africa's east coast to relay communications for the British forces. When the spacecraft ceased working a few years later, gravity might have been expected to pull it even further to the east, out over the Indian Ocean. But today, curiously, Skynet-1A is actually half a planet away, in position of 22,369 miles above the Americas. It might be tempting to reach for a conspiracy theory or two, not at least because it's hard to hear the name Skynet without thinking of the malicious, self-aware AI system in the Terminator movie franchise, but that is not the case.
So what is the case?
This is just a satellite that has moved orbit.
Who moved it?
Well, they do not know exactly how it moved.
So I know Nathan Mumm knows.
No, so all the research there says that it looks like some of the propulsion may have come back online inadvertently when somebody was doing some reboot of some items, and it may have just shot it and no one was actually paying attention to the point, so that it moved over the Americas. Either that or the British are spying on the Americans.
I thought you were going to say it was the Vulcans doing a little something.
Oh, it could have been.
Come on, man. That's always your go-to.
It could have been. Well, do you know that the satellite was built out of wood?
This one was built out of wood?
Yeah, so this is built out of wood. So that's another interesting aspect.
I thought we were just shooting a brand new spaceship with wood, and it was the first one ever.
No, this was built with wood particles also to it. So there's like 6 or 7 satellites.
I didn't know
that were
that.
built. Yeah. So now all the satellites are built with all metal, and you have that. But they didn't have that back in the time. You wouldn't say that.
That's probably in some ways better. So when it does fall, eventually it just kind of burns up. It's not.
It just does. Yeah,
all the pieces of metal falling on.
It could just go into the ocean.
I mean, yeah, but all that hard work and it burned up.
That's what happens when it comes back into atmosphere. That's the whole idea about the atmosphere out there. How do you think about what's going to happen to all of Elon Musk's satellites that he has up there for his Starnet?
What do I think about it?
Yeah,
I think he's ridiculous.
They're going to have to all at one time. They're all going to have to come back down. That'll be a
maybe we can program GPS to hit certain locations.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's go on now to a special segment that we made just for today. That is a segment we call "Say What."
Say what?
What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you. Say what one time.
Okay, all right, here we go. All right, Mark. So here's what we have for Say What. So every single time I say something with Say What, you need to respond with Say What. So that's what it is, all right? So
Say
Mark,
what?
say what?
Say what?
All right. Pizza Hut wants to use the PS5 to keep your pizza warm. Everyday tech and fast food push us into stranger territories. Pizza Hut's latest creation, the Pizza WRMR, might just be the most absurd. So it's Pizza Warmer. So it's WRMR. Now, the Pizza Warmer is a 3D printed add-on that harnesses the heat of the exhaust of Sony's PlayStation 5 to keep your pizza and cheese sticks warm. Yes, really. This is not a retail product that you won't find in stores.
Oh my gosh.
Instead, the blueprints for this novelty idea are available on Pizza Hut's Canada's website, where pizza and Canadians and gaming enthusiasts can download the specs and print their own now. The Pizza Warmer works by covering the PS5 vent, which on already notoriously heat-sensitive consoles only amps up the risk of overheating.
I was just going to ask you if this was a good idea.
No, this is a horrible idea. But it's clear that the Pizza Warmer is riffing off of the PS5's reputation for running hot. But let's face it, this design seems like a serious oversight.
Yeah, it's not just the overheat. It's do you want around your console melted cheese and sauce?
Yeah,
and oil from dripping off. Mostly, it's probably guys with pepperoni.
Yeah, well, the KFC came out with this frying bucket a couple years ago too. That they do these spoof things. But
oh my god,
Mark, say what?
Say what?
All right, how about you turn your smartphone into a playable wind instrument with this USB-C mouthpiece? So the Zephyro looks like a vape, but it's a tiny MIDI wind controller capable with mobile devices and computers. So you plug this device into your USB-C drive on your phone. So you plug it underneath. So if you have your phone here, you plug it under the bottom of it. Now the Zero looks like a flash drive or a tiny vape, but you gently blow into one end and you can use it to play simulated instruments and even less skills if you want to play those plastic recorders in grade school. So it's kind of the same type of recorder type deal that you put it on in, but instead of doing the recorder in your grade schools that you went to, now you put it into your phone through a USB-C.
But you still need a little bit of talent to play.
Well, you do. So the performer's breath power is translated into their mobile app, which simulates the sounds of various instruments, not just wind instruments like flutes and clarinets. You can also have horns and other items. And it even converts the top of your phone into an instrument that you can play notes for. So if you have a trumpet, you could have 3 different trumpet keys on a standard trumpet. And when you press down and you blow into this device, it will play the trumpet noise associated by both the breath that you're putting into this and the key that you press.
This is really, really cool and something I'll never do. I have no musical talent, but I can see this being cool. Now, can anybody play it? Any kind of phone?
Well, so it's any phone that takes a USB-C. Both iOS and Android devices are allowed to use this. Now, what do you think the price is for this device?
And it's just a little thing I plug in.
Just a little device you plug onto the USB-C.
For blowing.
Yep.
And do you have to pay for the app or you just pay for the hardware?
You just pay for the hardware.
Oh my gosh. I would say that'd be like $10-15.
It's $45 to get your instrument hooked up to participate. It's a little bit more. Now, what's interesting then is if you have a Bluetooth speakers or a Bluetooth amp, you could actually then set up a whole concert where they're actually trying to play different instruments, and you could have a whole orchestra going to an event that's playing it through Bluetooth speakers devices and hear that.
Or you could just dim the lights, have a nice candlelight dinner, and play a little saxophone for
there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
If I could play.
All right. Oh, Mark, say what?
Say what?
Oh, hackers demand France's Schneider Electric to pay $125K ransomware in baguettes.
What you talking about, Willis?
That's what I'm talking about. Hungry hackers have demanded that France's Schneider Electric pays a total ransomware of $125,000 in baguettes.
Yay to the French again.
Now, a tweet taunted Schneider about the success of the recent cyber attack and followed up posts in the thread reversal a chunk of data. However, fuller details about the actual nature and scale of the data haul is well documented and are published on the dark web. If the ransom demands aren't fulfilled, the threat is the sensitive data, including information about company project staff and users, will be spilled out to the internet. However, the hackers indicated that should Schneider publicly admit to the latest data breach, the ransom would be cut in half.
Well, that in itself, just admitting to a cyber breach?
So
what company has done that recently?
Well, nobody does. They always say they're looking into it.
Nothing sensitive has been taken. You're all safe. There's really not a breach.
Yeah, we're still investigating it. You don't have anything to worry about. But if you look at that, then that's only going to decrease the amount of baguettes that they would want. So now you're only down to like 60,000 plus in baguettes. Now, how much is a baguette? I was just thinking of this. Is that like $1 or $2?
Yeah.
So you got $1 or $2 for a baguette, $60,000 in baguettes. So literally you're going to know where these people are because you're going to be delivering truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of baguettes.
Well, this is purely a guess.
Okay.
That because they're cutting it in half if they admit the breach. It almost sounds like it's somebody that's trying to get people to admit things, and they're probably going to get the baguettes and not even collect them for themselves. They'll probably send them to a homeless center or a food bank or something in that respect. I think they're just trying to get a little notoriety.
You think that's
and make a point.
Okay.
Versus trying to actually collect money.
All right. So the most interesting ransomware attack is to have your company admit that they were hacked and then send baguettes. Well, what do you think about our new segment there? What do you think? Say what? Did you like it? So I think so. This is the stories that these are not world-breaking stories that deserve to be in our top 4 stories. But I'm trying to think of every once in a while we get a lot of crazy stories that you just want to get out in the press, and so that was my idea.
I enjoy it. I mean, the baguette one is just hilarious because even when you cut it in half, it's still a lot of dough.
You know what? We'll be here all day. All right. Well, now you know what? Let's move on to our Nathan Nugget of the Week.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right, so let's get ready. So Microsoft tests a universal share button for Windows 11. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we found out this information. So this isn't available yet, but this is something that's going to be coming out where we would like to say that we're weeks ahead of the mainstream media. So this is what Microsoft has. Microsoft's looking to expand the use of its share button in a future update of Windows 11 to make transporting content between contacts more efficient. The company is testing a universal share button in a new preview build of Windows 11 now available to the Windows insiders in the dev and beta channels. While the share button availability can vary depending on the app on Windows, this function will enable a share button throughout the Windows 11 operating system, including in the taskbar and start menu. Users will be able to send files, links, or text conveniently from their desktops. The feature appears to not be readily available within the preview, but it was rather a hidden function that was only uncovered using a third-party app called ViveTool.
Secret.
All right. The app digs through secret features within the code of Windows 11 software and then exploits them and tells you what they're looking to do. Now, since the share button feature is tested as a preview, and especially since it isn't a default feature, there's no word on whether this function will be available as a full version rollout or when it would become available to market.
But now I'm sure you've tested it.
Yes, the share button isn't.
But to turn on the share button, you don't need a third-party tool to do it.
So when you actually launch this ViveTool, it will actually tell you what needs to be changed, and it will tell you what code lines you need to do, so you can actually go on in there.
So you had to run the third-party.
So I had to run this third-party app to find it first. But here's what the idea of this universal share button is instead of having to drag something out to Dropbox, think of this. You're in your Windows environment. You have this picture. You want to share it to a contact. Maybe it's an email contact. Maybe if it's an SMS text. You go and you click on this, you hit share, and then what it does is it transports this file into your OneDrive, sends that person the link to that file so they have it without you having to drag and drop the file to a OneDrive, without you doing anything. And then that person has, it could be a time-based sequence or just any time that they can go and find that file, copy it down and use it, or share it with somebody else after they get that file.
Now, how is this different than I have Windows 10?
Yep.
And I have my OneDrive is fully integrated, so it's not like a separate box or anything. All my
you have it for your whole desktop.
For my whole desktop.
Okay.
So if I have a file, I just right click and I say share, and it creates a link and it says share who, and then it sends. I put in the email address and it can email them.
So instead of doing that, it will already have it in the contacts, and once you send it and send it out to that contact, they'll get an immediate alert that it's available.
Okay, so it's a little bit more streamlined of
and a lot of people don't have their desktop actually shared on OneDrive, so that's a pretty advanced feature. A lot of people still have a local desktop and then just certain files on OneDrive, so it would be
that's silly.
Because
if your computer crashes, you lose everything.
So I have it on OneDrive too.
I'm not here to argue with you, buddy.
That is really good. Do you know that they're also in the preview same version? They're also going to add some new AI features to Notepad. So I use Notepad. For
Okay. This is crazy. What kind of AI features can you put in Notepad?
So the whole idea of Notepad is to strip out all the content that you have, right? I use Notepad as a way where I copy stuff from a font in a certain area, strips it out, so it goes back to the native font, and then I can cut it back in. Well, there's a new AI feature called Rewrite for Notepad app, which will generate alternative text to fit your specific needs, including modifying text to be longer, shorter, or written in a certain tone or format.
So
I will disable this function.
You will?
As a user. I use my Notepad as a way to clean everything out, so I was going to say,
so basically what you're saying is you can copy something, put it into Notepad, it will then clean it up, but then you can use the AI to apply new features to it. And,
I think so.
Right. So it's no different than taking it
and put it into ChatGPT and then put it in a pack.
And then you take from ChatGPT, you got to paste it back in a Notepad to clean it up before you paste it to somewhere else, because ChatGPT pasting kind of comes in strange.
It does. All right.
That all sounds very complicated. I got lost in that.
All right.
Okay. Well,
we can take a step
it was
back.
a little bit of a nugget.
We geek out sometimes.
Sorry. Okay.
So basically, it's adding ChatGPT functions to Notepad.
No. I understand, but you're
sharing the desktop stuff.
No. The map of what you were saying, going from ChatGPT to Notepad, back to ChatGPT, back to something else.
Yeah.
I got lost in the path.
So if you ever use ChatGPT, it has a certain format.
Yes.
And if you don't want to put that in any like public work or anything like that.
Never mind.
So what's that?
I understand. I'm saying when Mark was describing this, it's hard to follow.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, not on you. It's just like you're saying the same thing over and over. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. We geeked out a little bit there. All right. So hopefully we get Gwen Wei back next week. We'll see what's going on with information. But now let's move to our pick of the day, whiskey tasting.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right. What are we tasting?
Today we're tasting Woodford Reserve Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's from Brown-Forman. It's a straight bourbon. It's a blend from 2 distilleries, 1 pot stilled, 1 column still, non-age stated, 90.4 proof, and it is $35 for a bottle.
We didn't have tons of time to we're gonna keep on going. So I'm going to taste it for my last final taste here. This is bad radio because it's going to be very quiet as I drink the.
Well, no, I will silently whisper things to you. Do you taste crane? Do you taste sweetness? Vanilla? Fruit?
A little ASMR moment. Here, why don't you put it up to the mic and...
Oak? Nuts? Floral? Herbal?
I like it. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
All right. What do I give it?
Well, so this is not on your top shelf. This would be not even on your middle shelf. This is probably on your daily drinker at the bottom of a shelf that you're going to mix with something else.
So this is the first bottle I brought in, a Woodford Reserve of this level.
Okay.
When I first got into whiskey many years ago, this is one of the... I actually went back. I was in Kentucky, and this was one of the first bourbons I tried. I wasn't crazy about it.
Really?
I wrote off Woodford until I tasted some of their high proof stuff, which I'm totally in love with.
Okay.
Now, as I've been unfortunately, many years in the whiskey business.
Mm-hmm.
I come back to this and I can appreciate it. Is it my go-to? No, I would not sip this because it has some notes that I'm not crazy about.
Okay.
But that's what I said. It gives you the breath. And when I first didn't like it, what I should have done, which people now can do listening to the Mark's Mumbles, is analyze it. What particular notes in there don't you like? And then you can steer yourself in the direction of bourbon or whiskey that you do like.
Okay.
And so some of the notes in there turn me off, but there's a lot I do enjoy in it. Like I said, it's great for cocktails because it brings a breath to those cocktails.
Makes sense. All right. Well, we are almost out of time here. Let's remind everybody how they can be a part of our show. We want to thank you for listening to our program. Listeners, we want to hear from you. Just visit techtimeradio.com and click on the Be a Caller and ask a question on technology in our talkback recording system. You can also stay connected by signing up for our newsletter and stay up to date with technology. So here's something. If you have a question you've always wanted to ask technology, go and click on that Be a Caller. Because when you click on that Be a Caller, we will have more information that we can find for you. We can get that one maybe technical request that you've always wanted to have done taken care of. All right. Well, Odie, how are we doing on time? We had a couple minutes. How many minutes do we have? Oh, we have 1+ minutes. So we got a little bit of extra time here. So let's just go through. I'm going to read through the headlines that are trending right now in technology and tell me what you think. And we're just going to shoot
rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Okay.
I love it.
Here is headline number 1 that we did not cover today. Ex-rival Blue Sky sees more than 700,000
We talked about that.
We
That
did.
was
All
a
right.
good one.
Microsoft Edge is trying to be forceful, getting you to no longer use Chrome by replacing all the tech. Okay. Apple rumored smart home display might arrive early next year for Apple Intelligence on board.
Possibility there.
Okay. How about?
I need to know more.
All right. PS5 exclusive Stellar Blade is coming to the PC.
I'll pass that to you. I'm not a gamer.
Nah, I don't think it makes a big difference there.
All right.
Trump will try to stop the TikTok ban, but how?
Let's move on.
Okay. That's okay. 23andMe to lay off 40% of its workforce. What do you think of that?
Ooh, that's a sad story.
Discontinues all therapy programs. 23andMe looks up for sale. We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
We did. As long as that data doesn't get out and they can find a way to respect it, I'm for that in resurrecting it and bring a little tighter controls.
Okay. How about AI-enhanced PCs stand out for the new CES coming up?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
That's the way.
All right. Well, I think, you know what? Here's the very last
I love that segment.
All right. Ready? What do we got? She's saying make sure we play everything out. Okay. We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining our show.
Later.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.